Hey there, this is Christine Landl, and I am with my sister, my best friend, my business partner, Jennifer Ream, and we are so excited to be here on yet again another platform that we are creating and another chapter, another piece to our journey.
The Well Podcast. This is Jennifer Ream. So excited to be here with you guys. Our intention for this podcast is all about sharing our love for all things wellness, holistic wellness that is. And we are here to uplift, plant some seeds, and support you on your wellness journey. We've always loved being able to be out there with our community, sharing all the things that we learn. And as we grow and learn new things, we love to put them out there, and maybe they'll plant some seeds for you and help you along your journey. So here we are. Let's get started.
Hey, welcome. It's Christine.
And this is Jennifer.
Welcome back to another episode of Vibe Well and our podcast. And we're so excited to be here again. We have some great topics to cover.
Yeah, this one might be a little bit heavy, but we felt like it was very intuitively coming to me when we were just thinking about what we were going to talk about right now. This topic is, I feel like, huge right now. So today we're going to talk a little bit about fear and trying to choose love over fear in 2021 and what that looks like right now. I mean, you have to be living under a rock not to see the fear mongering happening all around us in every direction. Whether it's intentional or unintentional, it really doesn't matter. We're all affected by fear, and it affects our bodies tremendously. Whether we understand it or not, it affects us physically, it affects us mentally. So it's really just, we feel, a super important topic to dive into a little bit. How we're dealing with it and how we're helping our team deal with it and our children and, each other, because we really got to lift each other up right now in these times and help move through the fear and find our power, stand in our power, remember who we are. And so let's dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, and I think with anything, but especially with fear, once you recognize it and you become aware of it in your own life, that's when you can face it head on, and that's how you heal it and move through it. So it is, like Jen said, it's everywhere, and ultimately fear sells, and it's the easy way out for many people because it just it's everywhere. Mm-hmm. So it can be so heavy that if you're not aware of it, it can start to manifest into physical ailments and dis-ease in your body, and that's where many people don't connect the dots.
Exactly. Anxiety, for one. Depression, gut issues.
All that heaviness you feel in your chest, the weight of the world on your shoulders.
Yep, absolutely. So we recognized how stress affects our body. I mean, there's tons of science and data to support that. Fear is a part of that. Fear falls under that topic and how it affects your body physically. So, I mean, the data has been there for a long time. That's why it's been so important to have a mindfulness meditation practice in order to move that fear through your body. And so that's one of the things that we do. But, initially I would just like to say that if you don't recognize it, I think a lot of people don't connect the dots, like you said, with hearing something on the radio or hearing something on the television or seeing something on social media, and they don't really connect the dots into how that visual or listening to that or reading that causes a physical reaction in their body. They might start to tense up, but they don't really notice it until later on that night. They have a headache, or like you said, they start to over time feel depression, feel anxiety, and they're not connecting the dots that it could be from so much inundated fear mongering showing up in their world. So we recognized this a long time ago, but wow, I would never have imagined seeing what I've seen in 2020 and 2021. Like, just mind-blowing amount of fear mongering going on.
Yeah. And a year of heavy, heavy fear mongering. And it's blatantly obvious to us now. We can really see it, and there's no judgment where you are at in your journey with this whatsoever. We've been in every aspect of it ourselves,
Yes,
and continue to. I mean, now we just have a full toolbox of how to work through it. But it is literally, if you turn on anything outside of your own home, like the TV or your social media, your phone, anything, it is the headlines. It is what they're pushing on us. And can be scary and heavy. And so that's kind of where it all starts, and what you're choosing to put your focus on and your attention on, and having boundaries around all of that.
Yeah. So we just, I think, mainly want to plant the seed of pay attention. Like how, if you are scrolling through your Facebook or you're scrolling through your social media and you start to feel stress, or you just pay attention to that, start to recognize it, bring awareness to how your body is feeling. Or if there's conversations and topics that are coming up that you're starting to notice make you feel uncomfortable, like pay attention to that. So we have to remember that we have the power to choose what we're going to see, what we're going to hear, what we're going to bring into our personal space. We have the power to turn that off, and we have the power to recognize how it makes our bodies feel and choose to do something to help move that energy through. So fear is an energy, and it can get stuck in your body. It can get stuck. For me, it's usually in my gut or my chest, where I'll start to feel that heaviness. And I know now that I have to breathe it out. So I really will physically imagine myself taking a huge deep inhale and really blowing it out, and imagine just releasing all of that negative energy. And I see it and I visualize it just being like a yucky, foggy energy that needs to go. It needs to be out of my body. And when we recognize that it is energy, then we can take the steps to kind of work through it and release it. And once you have a practice of that, it gets easier and easier, and you do it almost unconsciously. And that's what I have found that I do now, is I really I have these deep inhales and deep exhales all the time. And it's just my body releasing any of that energy that's not serving me. So,
yeah. And I think to piggyback on that, we have lots of things that we do on a regular basis that help us to move this energy through. And exercising is one, whether it's walking every day outside, walking if you can't go outside on your treadmill, but lifting weights and doing just any kind of workout, yoga, to move your body. And it's connecting with what works for you. But the key is to move your body and in ways that, both get your heart rate up, but also allows you to move the energy through. Because I think it's important to say that we're not looking to banish fear. It's not possible. It is going to be here as long as we're humans on earth. And so what's important is that you feel it and you move through it. And you allow it. And then you oftentimes need to learn something from it. So kind of ask your guides, ask God, what is it that this is coming to me for? What is it that I may need to heal from my past, from trauma, from past experiences that I haven't learned something from? And so in those moments, that awareness is how you evolve and you grow from it. And it can be uncomfortable. But then again, like we said, it's these tools of breathing, deep breaths, meditation, and exercise and moving your body are such key ways to physically move the energy out of your body.
Yes. And then next, it would be definitely the boundaries, like you mentioned already. I mean, that's huge. Christine and I have had, we've had to make some major changes just with cleaning up who we follow on social media. And for me and for both of us, I can speak for you because I know that this is true for you, that we don't scroll on Facebook anymore. We just won't get on and scroll because there's just so much toxic energy.
Facebook's cancer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's definitely become very, very dark and heavy. Mm-hmm. And so, there's definitely perks to it. I've talked to people about, some of our customers and stuff said, this is how I connect with businesses. And yes, we do too. Yes, and that's why we have it. Mm-hmm. And groups that are really doing some amazing work out there. And those are the positive aspects of it for sure. However, it has just become very dark and heavy at the same time. So boundaries are key when it comes to what you're willing to bring into your space, especially that time of day, like in the morning. That should be really your time of setting intention. It should not be grabbing your phone and scrolling. It really is about like, how do I want to feel today? I don't want to feel stressed. So I need to do things in the morning that are going to set me up for success. And that is being intentional about your thoughts and how your body feels through meditation and journaling and things like that. Really is having an intentional start to your day is huge in blocking out any unnecessary fear. And I think you brought up a good point about fear is needed. I mean, that is, we know fear can be healthy too. It helps. A healthy fear is not a bad thing when it motivates you and pushes you
from a tiger.
Saving you from a tiger, like those things that you do hear a lot from back in the day. We needed that fear to survive. And we do need it today to survive 100%, but it can cross the line. And that's why the topic came up for us now, because it has crossed the line where we're seeing our children suffer. We're seeing our friends suffer. We're seeing people afraid to live their lives. And
Amen.
That is the saddest thing I think I've seen.
Yeah.
It's just it's very sad to see that people are unwilling to really just live because they're so consumed with fear. And so,
and it's a year later in this right now when we're recording this, it's a year later that, we thought it was temporary. And so we have to realize that it is time to move forward. It is time to move on, and you have to do what you can do to empower yourself with these tools to get out of
living in fear. Yeah. And choose life that is surrounding you with love, and choosing love as much as you can over fear.
Yeah. And that's a great point because, and to go back to boundaries, I had an aha moment yesterday that, again, I was also getting caught up on the advocacy side of it all, where you can be inundated with the research that you're doing, and that can feel so heavy. And so I had this feeling yesterday when I was figuring out what I actually heard. Let's focus on what you can do to connect with joy again, because I was starting to really get connected with anger, frustration. I want to shake these people so that people can hear me. And then I heard this great message, you're not here to wake people. You're not here to teach them necessarily, but you are here to do that for yourself, and in turn hope to have a ripple effect by raising your vibe. So focus on raising your own vibe, and that's how you do it.
That's it.
And so I had this great aha moment of okay, I'm going to focus on what I can do. And one thing that I learned that our world really needs, it starts with our soil, it starts with our farming. And so I'm going to plant my garden, and I'm going to focus on learning how to plant my garden, because I've been saying this every year. And my daughter just said to me this morning, "You say that every year, Mom." And I'm well, this year I'm going to try. I mean, I always try, but it doesn't always work. Last year I didn't get my seeds in time. The year before that, my lettuce tasted really bitter. So, I'm going to keep trying to figure it out. But again, this morning in my meditation, it was connect with joy again, connect with the things that lift you up, because my vibe became low because I was so, and I'm sure Jen can relate to this, is that we're constantly talking about the crazy ass shit going on in our country. Because it is. And it literally is. And
it's mind blowing sometimes.
It's mind blowing when you've done the work that we've been doing for the past 15 years, It literally is just how can this not be seen to everyone? And so you do feel a sense of responsibility with our work that we do when we advocate for our health and we advocate for our family and our community's health. You do feel a sense of responsibility to tackle it. So again, boundaries. And so even back to social media, there's definitely those toxic people that you have to unfollow, but you also have to block some people that are
not serving you right now.
Not serving. And if you hear that they're constantly just going off on this rage and, not being kind, you just really don't want to engage with them in general. And so that's where you stop yourself from commenting or reading it or starting your day that way. again, with the news, like you don't want to start your day with the news. It's all the same message from the same people really high above that own the 6 news agencies and social media platforms in our entire world. So it's all the same message, and it's all fear mongering.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you just nailed it on the head. And that's, I think, the main point of this conversation is that we have to empower ourselves to change our energy. And that is the only way we will all make a difference. We cannot make a difference from a place of fear. We cannot make a difference from a place of anger or frustration. It can motivate us, but ultimately it's not going to change anything. So it won't create the ripple effect that we want. Only love can do that. And so when we love ourselves, we empower ourselves with loving kindness towards others, with the message that we share. That is what is transformational, and that is what is going to move us through this difficult, dark time. We know love wins in the end. Ultimately, we know that that's the case. So it'll get there. We'll get there faster if we stand in a place of love and kindness. And I 100% get caught up in sharing some stuff out there because to me, it's so important to plant seeds with others who just don't know. I mean, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And
we've learned that over the years.
Yeah. We've been in this industry of health and wellness for so long. We know where there's cracks, and we know where there's agendas that aren't serving the health of humanity. And so once you've seen that, even pre-pandemic, when you've understood that, then when you watch this happen, it becomes so overwhelmingly frustrating and hard not to tell everybody more information and want to share it and get it out there so they understand what's truly happening, and so they can choose the best things for themselves and their family. So I 100% get caught up in that. It's definitely been my personal struggle and boundary is standing in love, staying grounded, and keeping my vibration high so that I can serve in a better way.
And thank God we have a choice to do that.
And thank God we have a choice.
Because that's what it comes down to too. We don't have to stay in this place of focusing on what could happen on a fear-based way. We don't have to stay in that place. I mean, we could walk out our front door and something could happen easily that had nothing to do with what's going on right now.
Yeah.
So we have to choose to live. And the way that you do that, like we said, are all of these different ways to move through the fear.
It's present moment awareness. Present moment awareness, choosing love in the present moment, choosing that in that moment to breathe it out or to turn it off or to say, no, I'm not going to read that right now because it's just not where I'm at. It's not serving me, and I'm not going to read it or I'm not going to listen to that. It's present moment awareness and choice.
Yeah, when you find yourself going off on that tangent, creating a story in your head of what could be when it's in a negative way and not serving you physically or mentally, that's when you bring yourself back to, wait a minute, I'm right here, right now, doing this, breathing. Thank God for my breath, and thank God that I'm here on earth. I'm obviously here for a reason. These are my 5 things that I am so grateful for, and it will shift your vibe right away. And you can do that as many times as you need to get out of that funk that you might be in. And you have to do that until it becomes like a muscle that you can now flex, and it gets bigger and bigger the more you work it out.
100%. And you can retrain your body. You can retrain your mind. We have a monkey brain that wants to go off on tangents, and that's just being a human being. But we can take back control over that and actually be in power over those thoughts that aren't serving us. So the more we recognize it, like Christine said, it's just like meditation. The same thing happens with meditation. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. You just build that muscle. And the same thing happens when we're inundated with fear or anxiety. We can retrain our mind to come back to the present moment and retrain our brain to not go on those tangents. But there's been times in my life where I've had to work on this so deeply that I would literally have to say out loud, stop, you're not going there right now. Stop, you're not going there right now. Like, and I have to say it so many times because my mind would want to go on a tangent and be having a conversation or a fight with somebody that I'm not even in the same room with. So I'd have to do that so many times in order to make it stick that eventually I just recognize that I didn't have that storyline happening anymore. So I think that is another tool in the toolbox that we've learned over the years.
Yeah, and I think the way to another point in that is that sometimes you have to mix up your routine. Like sometimes our routine is what's keeping us stuck in these patterns that, yes, it's great to have a routine. And you know, part of our routine is getting up in the morning and doing our meditation, drinking our warm lemon water, you know, all of those things. But at the same time, sometimes our routines are what trains our monkey brain to continuously have to go to a certain aspect all the time. So that's another thing that you can do is purposely do something different in a moment that you would always be doing that same thing. Even if you're meditating in a different spot, you're kind of switching it up a little bit and working that muscle. Yeah,
I'm just going to share now, I think, because it's coming to me, Dr. Joe Dispenza. If you're not familiar with his work, if you dive into his work around this, it's life-changing. And I know he's got many, many books out there. Christine and I have read over the years. He has meditations. He does workshops.
Our friend Treese
is trained in sharing his method, and hopefully we'll be able to do something with that at Vibe Well. But literally, it just came to me to share his name if you don't follow him and if you don't know his work. We saw him at a retreat 2 years ago now, and he was awesome and awesome in person. And so just another somebody positive to follow, positive transformational work around this topic.
Yeah, and if you wanted to work with someone locally, like we mentioned, Treese Berlinski is an amazing person, and she's also a mindfulness and meditation expert, but just recently became a practitioner in Joe's work.
We could definitely share more information on that, and actually we should have her on. We will have her on soon. So anyway, that's kind of our riff on choosing love over fear. And it's a moment by moment, day by day choice. Trust me, we get it. We are a no judgment zone when it comes to this. We do the work and we see the struggles, and we see also the positive part of doing the work and having the tools to work through it. And so we hope that this gives you a little bit of something to put in your back pocket and something to think about.
And the thing with that as well is don't judge yourself about it. When you have awareness around it, it is a good thing. So when you catch yourself in that moment of being stuck in fear, pulling yourself out of it is the way to move forward. So don't judge yourself, just move forward. Use those tools.
Absolutely. So we're sending you so much love.
Have a great one. Thanks for joining us.
Yes. And we'll see you next time. Thanks again, friends, for joining us today on our latest podcast episode. We love sharing this with you. So please share the love if you feel called to all your friends and family.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on what we're going to talk about next. It's always so juicy.
And of course, you can find us on social, Instagram, Vibe Well Lifestyle, and Vibe Well on Facebook. Love y'all.
And if you're in town, make sure you stop by and see us at Vibe Well too.
Yeah, we would love to see your cute face.
See you soon.
Bye.